Home opener. Everybody's excited about that, so excited to get back here in our building and get going with the home game.
Saw Ryan lingering out there. Is he good
Yeah.
to go?
It was great that he's out there and taking reps. Game time decision.
Are you someone that likes to put emphasis on wanting to be dominant at home?
I think that just trying to be dominant would be on a daily basis is the goal. Oftentimes teams have not always, but oftentimes they have a better home record than they do a road record, and so sometimes the emphasis might be talking more about the road and playoff teams and finding success if you're successful on the road. I'd rather go slower than that. The first game in Buffalo was pretty important. That was the first game. This is the first home game. It's as important. I think it's important that we just try to keep taking steps with our game and building off of that. And usually if the process is right, then the results can follow.
You've coached in this building a number of times. You coached preseason games behind the home bench.
Yeah.
Why is this? What's different about this night then?
I think it's the franchise. I think it's the city. I think it's the history of the building and the organization, and it's New York City, and so there's a lot of things that factor into it. It's our first home game as a group as well, and so you mentioned being at home, but it's the first game for our team to be out there. Just great fans in a great city, and so it's exciting. But we talk about it sometimes that there's a flash when you talk about New York City and the New York Rangers and Madison Square Garden and those three things. There's a flash. There's a brightness to it, so that makes it exciting.
Did you say anything for a young player like Cooley who's going to go through it for the first time?
Did he? I don't know the answer. Did he not play a home game?
Well, this is his first home opener.
Home opener. Okay, sorry. No, I didn't say anything. I'm going to leave him alone. He's doing just fine without me. He's doing just fine without me getting involved.
There's no kind of natural spot on the schedule to get quick in a game.
Yeah.
Back early. How cognizant do you have to be of
Yeah.
finding a spot?
We'll get him going. I mean, again, it's a home opener, and guys are excited about that, and we're excited for that opportunity when he does get in there. We're aware of that too, and there's been conversations about it, and the goalies are aware of what we're thinking and intentions, and we'll see where that goes.
Have the Coyotes started to earn a little bit more of? Every team's respected around the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean when I say that.
Yeah.
Like, if they've started to earn a little more respect around the league.
I think they have. I think that they've done a good job of drafting and getting good young players in there, and there was definitely a rebuild process that went on with that organization, and it doesn't have that. What happened doesn't happen overnight. I think you're starting to see the pieces now come into play, and with that, like any team, that you find that there's good young players that are really impactful in the league, and they have some really good young players now, and so I also think that it's such a cliche, but there are no easy games. And the minute you think a game is going to be easy, you are going to get slapped around pretty good. And so I think that they are a team that's on the rise. They're starting. It's not. I think different teams might be at different levels with regard to what you're asking,
Yeah.
but they're a team that's on the rise. And I think anytime you don't respect that and take somebody lightly, you usually don't like the end of the night.
I guess the question also is with them, as you prepare for them, is there more of an added emphasis on certain areas and certain players than maybe there was before? I don't know, when they were going through it and it was struggle, it was like,
Yeah.
all right, let's prepare our guys, let's be ready. They'll play hard.
Yeah.
But now there's a lot more
Yeah,
time.
now you're right. Now you've added speed to it. Now you add skill to it, and a coach has been there for a couple years, putting his identity into it, and so you're right. There becomes more to it, just based on those factors, and so we're talking about the game tonight. We're not sitting here looking for the next division opponent. It's going to be a tough one tonight. We know that.
You used the word
block shots, or do you appreciate when they block shots? I mean, which is it?
We talk about all the intangibles from face-offs to block shots, eliminating turnovers. There's the one-on-one battles. There's lots of things I think that are not necessarily systematic related, that I think that affect the game and they can alter the course of a game. And certainly blocking shots is one of them that we talk about and just left a meeting talking about. And so it's in conversation in the room.
You mentioned the other night not wanting guys to sit for too long.
Yep.
I'm curious, how do you find that balance of wanting to accomplish that, but also addressing the lineup that you feel gives them
Yeah,
a good chance to win every night?
Listen, I said it the other day, it's difficult. You're talking about, players who've been around for over 500 games, and they're good players. I'm not making any decisions based on player evaluation. I'm making decisions right now based on the fact that I've got 13 forwards that I think do a good job, and I can only play 12 of them.
Peter, you've told us before about showing positive and negative clips from
Yep.
different games. From the other night, any teachable moments stand out to you, or points of emphasis now
Yeah.
coming out of that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that we were a little loose in front of our net. I thought that we were a little too. Maybe it was because of the score and the fact that we were pushing that game to try and catch up. We had a little bit too much risk in it, where I think for 3 games prior we had eliminated a lot of that risk. And there's definitely teachable moments which we took care of.
Blake Wheeler fit in. He's a guy who came from one team to a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah.
How have you seen him fit in?
He arrived at camp early here, trained really hard when he was here, and has bought in and made a commitment to the New York Rangers. And I think that with any change, there's a little bit of a change period. You've been one place for a long time, and now you're in a new place, and you're working to fit in on a line, on a power play. You left an organization where you were a big part of it for a long time. So I think there's always a little bit of a transition period there, but my communications with Blake have been good, and I think the more ice time, the more he plays and the more he gets involved, the more comfortable he'll feel, and maybe that line will start to even click and generate a little bit